And taking a live look outside this morning over downtown Denver, dark and early as we get ready for another hot and dry week ahead. Of course, fire crews are worried that they're going to be pretty busy this week. We're going to get all those details with Chris Bianchi in just a second.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough stretch for sure. Good morning, everyone. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Jordan Chavez. Let's get a check of that forecast now with Chris. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. And you said exactly right, Jordan, Corey. I mean, this is one of those weeks where we've been in this prolonged dry stretch. Boulder, less than an inch of rain in the last 3 months. They averaged more than 7 inches in that time span. We've been bone dry here, folks, along the Front Range. It's not just you. It really has been that dry. And the problem is when it's been this dry for this long and then you throw in temperatures near 100 degrees for basically the entire week and basically 0 rain chances, that's a problem. Meantime, Denver for us right now, things on the calm side right now, we'll get up to about 97 degrees. We will have some air quality issues through the day today due to mostly ground ozone. There's going to be a little bit of wildfire smoke mixed in there as well, but I think the majority of that smoke stays off to our north. Temperatures mostly in the 60s right now in the eastern plains, mostly in the 40s in the high country. We're quiet right now, just a few radar returns there in the eastern plains. Nothing doing out there and anywhere here across the state. Wildfire smoke, that'll stay mostly to our north, but we get a little bit of that wildfire smoke from Southern California and Arizona. That'll kind of mix its way into the skies here across our state as we head over the next couple of days. Heat advisory for the I-25 corridor for tomorrow. This is again for tomorrow for the I-25 corridor. Temperatures up to about 101 degrees. And we are certainly in the dog days of summer here, folks. Hot and dry for really the entire week with the heat advisory for tomorrow. Smoky skies, the worst of it will be to our north, but we get some of that smoke out here as well, and no relief until the weekend. I'm going to have details, though, on maybe some cooler temperatures for this upcoming weekend. I wouldn't hold your breath here, folks, but we might get some cooler temperatures for the weekend. I'll have details on that coming up in my full forecast in a few minutes, but I want to send things over to Erica for a first check at traffic.
Chris, thank you. Right now we are following a crash. This is something that we've been dealing with from overnight. Broomfield police tweeted out about it. Southbound I-25 is shut down in the area of Highway 7 this morning, so we can't quite make out the entire scene, and their tweet did not go into detail other than we know that it involved a motorcycle. So southbound I-25 in the area of Highway 7 fully shut down. Northbound lanes along this stretch are open and moving, but full stop out here, which of course is a big inconvenience anytime we're dealing with a full interstate closure. So I do want to bring you over to our map and kind of show you exactly where this is. So again, crash involving a motorcycle this morning. Southbound I-25 lanes closed at Highway 7. So Huron and Washington streets are options for workarounds that run parallel to the interstate. If you are going to be traveling this way, we'll of course update you if we hear anything further from Broomfield police on any more details or when the interstate is going to reopen. But as it stands elsewhere, lots of green out here, no other major problems. Denver to Boulder commute 18 minutes right now on westbound Highway 36, and travel for you on I-25 looking just fine between downtown and the Denver Tech Center. We're looking at a 14-minute commute southbound, about the same 15 minutes on the northbound side.
All right, thank you, Erica. New this morning, researchers at CU Anschutz are doing a study to help police detect whether a person is too high to get behind the wheel.
9 News reporter Brianna Fernandez is live outside the campus. Brianna, what does this study include?
Yeah, Corey, Jordan. So in the last 2 years, researchers have had more than 200 participants take part of this study. And those ages from those participants range from 25 to 55 years old. So with this study, researchers say that they put each participant into a room where they're able to use cannabis. So once the cannabis sets into the person's systems, researchers get to work. So the study can take anywhere from 3 to 5 hours long, depending on how much the person smokes. Researchers then take some blood work from the participants. They'll be able to go through a series of tests on an iPad and then a driving simulator. So with the simulator, researchers are not checking how good a driver you are, but how bad a driver you may become while high on cannabis. So this is where researchers can really see if they're weaving in and out of traffic, what's the reaction time on the road, and if they have any memory issues or if their eyes change.
I think what's changing is a growing awareness of how complicated it is to test for cannabis impairment. I think when cannabis was first legalized, and retail sales started more than 10 years ago, there was a thought that we could just test like alcohol. Maybe we could draw blood and we could see the level of THC in the blood. Turns out the metabolism is very complicated and it's nothing like that.
So coming up in the next hour over at 6 a.m. this morning, we're going to talk about what's next for this program here at CU Anschutz, and also what study has shown so far if you're using cannabis and getting behind the wheel. For now, I'm live here in Aurora. Brianna Fernandez for 9 News.
It's fascinating and very important. All right, Brianna, thank you.
It is now 5:05 on your Monday morning, and Highway 285 is back open, and people can return home this morning thanks to crews making quick work of a grass fire that burned near Indian Hills on Sunday. Jeffco Sheriff's Office says at 1 p.m. that fire along 285 and South Turkey Creek Road was moving fast in the dry conditions. Tiny Town, along with 5 homes in the area, were evacuated. 40 firefighters, nearly all of them volunteers, hit the ground running in dangerous terrain. Despite dry, hot conditions, crews had the fire out within hours.
Look, folks, we're in the mountains in Colorado, and it is dry and it is hot. And we have not seen a lot of moisture this spring and summer. So the risk for this type of incident happening is really high.
Crews will be out they'll be out the next couple of days to make sure that hot spots don't spark back up.
New this morning, right now crews in Mesa County are working to get a handle on a fire burning near the Kings Canyon area of Black Ridge. The fire grew to more than 160 acres in less than a day. Additional crews have been requested to help out. Right now, we're not hearing of any evacuations for the area, but we'll keep you updated on air and online as we learn more.
The park fire burning in Northern California has grown to more than 360,000 acres, or about 550 square miles, after starting Wednesday. CAL FIRE says the flames have destroyed more than 130 buildings and more than 4,000 remain threatened. Authorities say that the park fire was started by a man who pushed a flaming car into a gully filled with dried brush. The fire grew quickly thanks to hot temperatures, dry brush, and gusty winds.
Right now, more than 20,000 people are evacuating as 2 fires converged and quickly spread to a popular tourist town in the Canadian Rockies. Officials say more than 350 of Jasper's structures were destroyed, making it the largest fire recorded in Jasper National Park in a century, and it could continue burning for the next 3 months. While rain and cooler temperatures have helped, there are still active hotspots near the community.
New overnight, at least 9 people were injured when the roof of a restaurant collapsed in Florida. This happened at La Trattoria restaurant in downtown Naples. The restaurant was evacuated as fire and EMS units checked the building for hazards. And according to authorities, no neighboring buildings were affected. The restaurant will be closed pending an investigation and repairs.
An update this morning, the 2 men wounded when a gunman opened fire at former President Donald Trump's campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, are now both out of the hospital. Doctors released James Koppenhaver on Friday. The other man who was shot, David Dutch, left last Wednesday. The gunfire also killed firefighter Corey Compentor. Trump announced last Friday he plans to hold another campaign rally in Butler and will honor the firefighter's life and those hurt earlier this month.
Text messages show local law enforcement flagged Trump's shooter more than 90 minutes before the rally. This is according to the New York Times, citing evidence that Senator Chuck Grassley obtained. The messages indicate a local sniper reported seeing someone park and sit on a nearby picnic table. They show local law enforcement took a picture of the person 30 minutes later, and he turned out to be the eventual shooter. One text message notes that someone saw the suspect holding a rangefinder and looking toward the stage.
Today, President Biden is heading to Houston, Texas to pay his respects to the family of late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who died earlier this month. Jackson Lee served in Congress for nearly 30 years. She died July 19th after losing her battle with pancreatic cancer. She was the longest serving member of the Texas congressional delegation. President Biden will also make a trip to Austin today to mark the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act. It was 1964 when then President Lyndon Johnson signed the landmark legislation into law that prohibited discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin.
And weather-wise for today, the story continues to be the heat, with temperatures in the upper 90s, with a bit of a hazy look to the sky thanks to wildfire smoke off to our west, and also a little bit of ground ozone as well. Daily record in 99. A little bit of jeopardy, air quality alert until 4 p.m. for today for the Denver area. That will likely be extended into tomorrow as well. Western slope, that is for wildfire smoke for that air quality alert. Send things over to Erica for a look at traffic.
Chris, thank you. Right now we are following an interstate closure right now because of a crash overnight. About a little over 3 hours ago, Broomfield police tweeted about it, saying that there's a motorcycle crash and southbound I-25 lanes at Highway 7 are shut down. Northbound side of the interstate is open, of course. They're urging you to use an alternate at this time, of course, because those southbound lanes are not passable. Huron Street and Washington Street run parallel to the interstate. Those are going to be a couple options for you to fully avoid that closure this morning. It does look like things are beginning to slow approaching that closure this morning, heading in toward the Broomfield area. So something to just be aware of at this time of the morning.
Erica, thank you. Every month, the Denver Animal Shelter has a free clinic for people who can't afford to spay or neuter their pets. This weekend's event was extended to 2 days because of the need.
Yeah, that's right. 9 News reporter Brianna Clark is outside the shelter this morning. Brianna, Denver requires all pets to be fixed.
Yeah, Jordan, Corey, that's for pets 6 months and older. And if an owner doesn't comply, they risk getting their dog or cat taken away. The city says when the ordinance was first put in place in the 90s, the goal was to reduce the number of stray animals. At that time, the city reported it was euthanizing tens of thousands of unwanted dogs and cats every single year. That number has gone down drastically. It's now in the hundreds. But veterinarians say there is a challenge with this rule. Not every pet owner can shell out a few $100 for a spay or neuter surgery. And those animals often end up here in the shelter. To help keep pets in homes, Denver is offering the surgery free of charge to those who qualify.
It is really challenging to get into your local veterinarian, even if you are just trying to get your animal spay neutered. So we're looking at weeks in order to get into a private clinic. During that time frame, especially if it's a cat or dog, you know, they could go into heat, they could be exposed to a male, and they could actually have a litter during that time frame while they're just waiting to get spayed or neutered.
Over the weekend, Dr. Patricia Crystal helped spay and neuter 30 dogs and cats in the Denver area. The shelter says these animals tend to be more affectionate toward their humans, they live longer, and they are less likely to develop health problems. We will share a few examples with you guys coming up in our next hour. So the animal shelter here started doing this clinic about a year ago. It happens every month. The next one is set for August 17th. You can find out if you qualify by calling 311. Reporting live, Brianna Clark, 9 News.
I didn't know that they had to be neutered 6 months, neuter or spayed 6 months and older. All right, learned something new this morning. Brianna, thank you.